We are live again, Facebook Live, and I've convinced Serena to actually come on tonight and do it with me.
Hi, hello, everyone.
Thanks for coming on. Honey, you always tell me not to wear a hat when I do these, but tonight I have a hat on, and it's got the big D on it, and the D is not for Donaldsonville. It's the Dodgers. Now, you're not a baseball fan at all.
No.
No. Why not?
How long have you got? It's too slow. I don't like the crowds. I like watching it on television.
Okay. So you went to one baseball game in your life. You actually went to a Dodger game.
I've been to 2 Dodger games, actually.
Oh, you went to one before that?
Yeah.
Okay. We went, you, me, Tallulah, Tallulah's dad.
Yeah.
Scott, we showed up. And it didn't turn out so well. Yeah, what happened to you in the second inning?
Stop it. I had a panic attack.
Oh, okay. She had a panic attack because there were big men swatting bats at balls. They're not used to that in England.
I just don't like, you know what? It's an assault on my senses. If I go to a game, I want to watch the game. But in America, when you go to a game, there's a billboard over here, and then there's flashing lights over there, and then there's dancers over there, and there's kids throwing balls, and there's a clown, and it's like, I just want to watch the game. Well, I don't want this like multi-sensory.
I get it. I get it. When I grew up, and when I played football, back when I played college ball, the only thing on the field, who are you waving to? You're reading questions. I'm going to have you read the questions in a minute. You'll pick out the ones you want.
Hi, Maria.
So wait, before you get to that, I was telling a story, Serena. You can't still say hi to everyone who's coming in. You don't know how to do Facebook Live yet. Hang with me.
I'm such a Neanderthal.
Yeah. All right. So here you go. So what happened was when I played football, the football players were that was the entertainment. Last year I went to the LSU Alabama game. It was completely different. They had flashing this and flashing that and music. And every time they went to the huddle, it was music and this and all kinds of stuff happening. And I think it's because of society today and what's going on in society.
It's all the ills of society.
Yeah, it really is. And it really. No, I'm using this for my notes. What were you going to use it for?
It's for notes.
And do you see my notes here? These are my. You see all 2 of them? Here, honey. Would you like to write on that? You need something to write with? You want the big pen like this? Yeah. A big thick one?
No. Give me
you want the little stem one, a nice pen. There you go. Okay. All right. So anyway, there are questions coming in already. A lot of people are, look, we have a lot of people watching. Right? 58 people, and we just got on here.
Exactly, Thomas Cromit.
Yeah. So read the questions, Serena, and just throw them out there, and whatever you like, I will answer.
Well, first of all, it's great to see you guys, and we really love doing this. It's really, really fun. So we love it when people join in and ask all their questions and say hi, and we hear your stories and everything. So, coolness. I didn't understand the baseball diamond. Very true. Here comes the first question here. I have a hard time with fuel out on the trail. Courtney Suderman. Not what to eat, but stomaching food out there. Any suggestions on this? Oh, yeah.
Well, first off, when you talk about food on the trail, obviously we're going to consider she's either hiking or running or both. And if you're having trouble with food on the trail, now Serena's an ultra runner and she spends a lot of time on the trail. And she is no stranger to a stomach upset. Of course, I'm not. I spent my whole cycling career with stomach upset. But yeah, there's certain foods that can get to your stomach. It would help if she came back and gave us what she's eating now. So we'll come back to that question. Let's keep watching out for her question at the bottom here.
Okay,
let us know
on
what
the trail for later.
Yeah,
okay.
Food on the trail for later. She's a runner. It says right there, Suderman, right?
Running.
Yeah, Courtney,
really
come
hard.
back to us again and let us know what you're eating.
I have a question for
now.
you, Courtney. How fast are you running? Are you running ultras, or are you trying to PR for a marathon or PR for an ultra, or how do you train?
Yeah, we need to know. We need more information. That's why I always tell people, Serena, that doing the consults, when I do the consults, they're really good because I can really hone in on what people want.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
No, of course. Personalized. Absolutely. Wait, can we scroll back up so we can...
Yeah, you can scroll. You can do whatever you want.
What do I think?
Let me show you how to... There you go, like that. You see Neanderthal. You see, you don't even know how to use the thing.
All right. So, Courtney, we'll get back to you on that. If you just let us know what kind of running you're doing, that'd be great. From Brian Novak.
I think it's Nowak.
Can NSNG help those whose sugar levels tend to be lower than usual?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's an interesting question.
It's not even that interesting of a question. Usually lower blood sugar things happen because people's blood sugar is fluctuating so much.
Right.
And
like I used to get the shakes.
Yeah. And by the way, when you start eating less, when you cut grains out and you cut sugars down, you're just getting your carbohydrates from vegetables. You would be shocked at how that levels off. That's one of those things I hear constantly from people in the phone calls, when people write to me privately, Vinnie at VinnieTortorich.com and those sort of things. And also on this page, by the way, we answer questions on this Facebook page.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get that constantly.
But don't send messages because Vinnie never reads them.
No, but Serena will find some and she'll read them and she'll tell me about them.
I know, but I don't.
If people want to know what we do in bed, she goes, "Oh, look, honey, you got a really interesting question here on Facebook." I thought she was going to say, "Oh, look, honey, let's fool around a bit." But that never happened.
Moving on.
Yeah. So, Serena,
focus.
What is this page called? My
Facebook Live.
Yeah, but what is my
this
page?
This is your Vinnie Tortorich. I think it's Fitness Confidential NSNG. Is that right, folks?
Our athletes page.
Look up here. Fitness Confidential NSNG.
Yeah.
But yes, originally it was your athletes page, but they sort of changed.
It's where you're allowed to have more than 5,000 people.
Vinnie, let's get on with the questions.
People like this. You go on. Guys, you see what I deal with? Oh, yeah, she's a Bond girl. She's easy to deal with. She's always just moving me ahead in life. I'm just trying to have a good time here. And no, she's just always just
okay,
pushing me ahead.
Low blood sugar and NSNG. For me, it totally was a game changer. I used to literally shake before I had food. I couldn't go out in the morning without having breakfast, carbohydrates, notably. And now I go and I run. I just do my runs on just the coffee with the cream.
Serena, I want you to answer this because I say it on the podcast all the time. A lot of times you'll go out for your Saturday morning run, and that run goes on when you're in the season training. It'll go on for like 30 miles sometimes.
Yes.
When you're getting close to a race or something.
Yes.
And when you're climbing mountains and all that, it takes you forever. You're out there all day. I've seen you leave in the morning, no breakfast, just coffee and cream.
Before I run.
And you're out there if you're doing, all right, let's say you're doing 30 miles.
Yeah.
And usually you're coming back later that afternoon. Like sometimes I can say, is she out there having an affair? Because 30 miles shouldn't take this long.
No, I'm very, very slow.
So explain to everyone how long you're out there and what you might eat when you're out there.
Okay. So because I'm not hungry in the morning anymore after I've had my coffee with cream. And here's the thing, I get up at 5. If I have to be somewhere at 7, I'll get up at 5 because I like to wake up and drink my coffee and do my little meditation and read the news and, slap him around a bit. Yeah. And so I don't want to even get up even earlier to eat so that I've digested it by the time I start running.
Right.
That's the thing. Eggs I can't stomach in the morning at all. So basically I go out and I find I usually can go about 2.5, 3 hours without eating anything. And about 2.5 hours, which very often at the rate that we go with the stopping and the chatting and is probably, 10 to 12 miles. I'll need something to eat. And so the first thing I always go to is my cashew nuts, which I carry with me. And that staves it off for quite a long time. Some olives. Trader Joe's have these really cute little bags of olives. They're not the best olives, but they're not bad, and they're very convenient because they come in these little packages. Yeah,
it's almost like I've often said it's almost like Trader Joe's is listening to me because
I'm going to go get one so
Serena,
you guys can see.
While you're getting the olives, look in the other cabinet and get the whole package and the whole thing to show the little Trader Joe's coconut oil things and bring the package so they can see what they're going to be buying. There she goes. She's left me on my own for a second. By the way, folks, are you guys enjoying the fact that I brought Serena in tonight to do this? If you are, send me the little hearts and a little thumbs up, the little heart. How do you do a heart? I don't even know how to do that. Tallulah's always doing the heart. If you guys are liking me doing this, I like having someone here with me so you guys just don't have to look at my ugly mug the entire time. And while she's gone, isn't she pretty cute? Come on, guys. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm out kicking my coverage with her. There's no two ways about it. see if I can answer a question or two on my own. You see, I can't read them I'm all the way over here. Rice is the least egregious, but still best to avoid. That comes from Spencer Russell. Yeah, I always talk, Spencer, about rice being the least egregious of all the grains. But yeah, it should still be avoided. We talked about on the Adam Carolla show, it came up, people ask me about Uncle Ben's converted bran rice. Whenever you have converted bran rice, it's not quite as bad because it's parboiled and it becomes more or less a resistant starch. So you could get away with that just a little bit. But if you're doing this right, you don't want to have those kind of things in your arsenal. You know, you can only cheat the system so much for so long. And that is, if you're going to have rice, by the way, you should have Uncle Ben's converted bran rice. I don't get a dime for telling you guys that. They're not a sponsor, but it does act as a resistant starch. But when you start playing that game, you get into, you know, kind of scary territory, and it's easy to start going into other stuff. So I would tell you to be very careful. So Serena, what did you bring here?
Okay, so here is the, can you see this? Coconut oil from Trader Joe's, and this comes in these little packets. I'm afraid to use it on the trail in case you know what happens. Yeah,
some people will, and I tell people, try this at home first. I can eat coconut oil. I can probably do 3 or 4 of those packets, no problem. But some people, and by the way, it's solid right now because it's a little cool in the house. But you guys can see, you can squish it around. By the time you get on the trail and it's up against your skin, coconut oil will get, you know, it'll become like a clear liquid. That doesn't mean it went bad. A lot of people ask me that. It means it's still good. When you get back home and it cools off, it'll go back to a solid state again. I have no problem with these. If you do have problem with oil, think about olive oil, especially now we're getting into the winter months. Olive oil will stay good for a long time. If you could find some kind of little vial or something, it's that little, there used to be a little shot. I have one of those little shot bottles that sits in my office, like they give you the shot. We'll get into that in a second. That's another good thing to carry coconut oil in. Hang on, hon.
I think we got the idea.
You don't have the idea because I'm talking about olive oil. I know. Have a little shot bottle from the airplane. You can have any kind of plastic bottle. Carry it with you. You can put olive oil in it. It's a lot easier on your system than the coconut oil. But if you can handle coconut oil, this one's actually getting mushy because I have it in my hand for a while. Serena, what else do you have there?
Okay, so this is one of my favorite things from Trader Joe's. These are these little pockets you just tear off the top, and they're pitted already, so you don't have to worry about biting down on a pit. And the very good bit is at the very bottom. It's quite hard to get it, but they have this brine at the bottom that's just on a hot day when you're running, hits the spot. Fabulous. So, big fan of those.
Can I see those?
Yeah, delicious.
Give those a shot right now.
Here's the thing I've discovered recently, which I'm a huge fan on. I buy it on Amazon. Make sure you click through VinnieTortorich.com. This stuff is incredible. Like sometimes I think I need food on the trail, and actually I'll take one of these, and this will, I don't know, we use them at Salton Sea. It was ridiculous.
Let me talk a little bit because people.
Incredible this stuff.
People have been asking me a lot about the
huge fan.
The pickle juice. Pickle juice, and because I brought it up on, again, whatever I bring up on Carolla Digital ends up in the zeitgeist, and then it becomes a thing. So I shouldn't have maybe had an olive because now it's, I'm sucking on olives over here.
Here.
All I want to do is have olives.
Some fun.
So there is no science behind pickle juice. Let me start with that. Zero science. But it's been around for a long time. You know, guys in the ultra community have been using this to start with the cyclists. You know, when you're out there and it's hot and people cramp up, people basically take the brine of pickle juice, you know, from, we used to just take it from the bottle of pickles. You face the pickles, you'd hang on to the brine, it stays forever in the fridge.
And a lot of those full of sugar though, because they don't need, pickles are sweet sometimes.
No, you don't use the sweet pickles. You just use the dill pickles and the whole thing. And we used to use that. We used to call it natural Gatorade, and somehow it made it out of the ultra community into, you know, just everyone doing it now. So companies like this company, Pickle Juice, just decided to start putting these products out, And do they work for everyone? Do they work all the time? It seems to work. It's supposed to just be pickle juice. I still use the
I've
stuff
never
right
even
from
looked
the
at the
bottle.
ingredients, to be honest with you. Hang on.
Yeah, let's see what's in it. Can you read it? It's tiny.
Look, I'm going to find it's full of sugar.
Yeah. I tasted one once, and I didn't taste any
listen
sugar.
to this. Look, dual filtered water, vinegar, salt, natural flavors, potassium, zinc, vitamin C, and vitamin E.
There you have it. And by the way, we don't know
Amazing.
why it works. There is no scientific proof that it works.
Sugar-free, caffeine-free, gluten-free, no protein allergens, no artificial preservatives, no artificial colors or flavors, non-carbonated, no genetically modified organisms. That's pretty fun.
But you will die from the fact that you're using a plastic, all that acid is eating away that plastic. So let's see.
I'm sure
number
it's...
is it?
let me see.
It's hard to see, right?
It doesn't. Do they
Serena,
all have a number on them? You and I are getting blinder and blinder.
I can't see a damn
tragic.
thing. I just can't see it.
NSNG makes you blind.
Yeah, that's a fact, man. Right there. That's a fact. All right, Serena, let's start going through a few questions here for people because there is a baseball game that we need to get to at some point.
Oh, no, but this
Go
is
Dodgers.
so much more fun.
Go Big Blue.
Okay, let's see. I got to go back up. Hang on. Sorry, I'm not used to this mouse. Where are the other ones, the earlier ones?
So, Serena, you just got to go with what you got there.
Oh, hell.
You know what they say, run with your brung.
Okay, Courtney, 20 miles, had a rough go at last time. Slower run, a 10-minute mile or more on the trail. I've tried almond butter out there, even a bit of oranges from the aid station, but couldn't keep it in NSNG for a couple of years. Courtney, I feel your pain. First of all, let me tell you, I am not running 10-minute miles. If I'm trying for a marathon PR, yeah, I'm going at least that fast. But on the trails and ultras, it's a whole different ballgame. When I'm racing, I eat whatever I want, literally whatever I want, because whatever my body, I'll see something there and I'll go, "Ooh, that looks really good," so I eat it, and I've experimented with stuff, and I found that I've got to be careful to eat what my body tells me to eat when I'm racing. So when I'm racing, it's like all bets are off pretty much. But nut butter when you're running fast, forget about it. You're like this. It's disgusting.
You like what, honey?
Nut butter. Don't like it.
Show me again?
No.
Come on.
No, because I know the still photograph will be me doing that.
Yeah, pretty much. That's just kind of how it works around here.
Anyway, so in the beginning, and by the way, it takes forever to stop eating goos and things. And I do have them every now and again if I feel like I'm having a major bonk. But that's usually my fault because I don't eat enough real food first. I freeze my water the night before. I put this much water in the bottom of my bladder and I put it in the freezer, and then I fill it up with water. Then I put it in my backpack, and then I put little bags of cheese and salami against the ice to keep it cold because it's super hot here. And that's how I made the transition from being sugar reliant to being able to. And now I'll go out for 3-4 hours now, and I'll have maybe a handful of cashew nuts, or the peely nuts are great. The peely nuts are really good.
Yeah, that guy, I think his site is called Hunter Gatherer. He sends us all these peely nuts.
They're really good.
He sends them for free. You're looking around to see if we have those in here too now, right?
I'm going to go get some.
Yeah, and then when you come back, not only do I want you to go get the peely nuts, I want you to talk about those meatballs you made the other day.
Oh, yeah, baby.
Which are unbelievable. While she's doing that, I'm going to tell you guys, if you go to VinnieTortorich.com at some point, there's an intro to NSNG guide. I'm sure most of you guys already know about that. There's also the VT Insider. That's subscribe to that newsletter. We're sending out really good stuff. A lot of guys signed up for the 10 for 10. They got it. You got the 10 for 10 for $5. By the way, if you're on this thing right now and you haven't done the 10 for 10, you have until midnight tonight. So I would tell you to do it right this moment so that you don't forget. You could go and get 10 for 5. And we're just showing all kinds of products right now.
I know,
right?
It's like a great big...
You can get 10 for 5 right now if you go to VinnieTortorich.com, become an insider, and then they would immediately get that, right? Once they became an insider.
So you become an insider, you'll get an email from, I think, from Benchmark, or from your site that'll say, confirm this is your email. Confirm, click on that, and then you'll get the welcome email with the link. Then you go to the VinnieTortorich.learn and you create an account, sign into that. If you didn't already download the PDF, you'll have to create an account. Otherwise, you just sign in with your login. And then you will see the bundle of podcasts. So that's that. Here are the pili nuts. These are the flavors that we like, the Himalayan salt. These ones are a bit spicier.
I like the spicy one.
They make a raw cacao one, but don't eat that. It's got sugar in it.
Yeah.
I'm going to open one so you can see what they look like.
This guy,
these. They really
by the
melt
way,
in your mouth.
this guy just sends them to us.
He's amazing.
And he's got on his site, even though he's not a sponsor, he really can't afford to be sponsored by us.
You see? That's what they look like.
He sends us a bunch of them.
Little slivers.
They're the highest fat nut.
Yeah.
It's almost like having little fat bombs when you're out on a trail.
Yeah, they melt in your mouth. So you might find that easier to eat on the trail. It's not, you're not left with a mouthful of peanuts or almonds or whatever.
All I want to do now is eat these olives and eat these pili nuts.
They're really good.
Serena, the other night you made meatballs.
Yes, sir.
And you wanted to put nuts in it. Tell everybody what you did.
So the reason why
I'm going to have another one here.
When you make any like stuffed peppers or any kind of ground beef type thing, that's a stuffing type thing. Normally in cooking, you put breadcrumbs in. But I discovered that ages ago, if you chop up pine nuts, put them in a blender and just whiz them up, they pad out the meat quite well, and they're actually very delicious because they're full of fat. And the other day I was making some meatballs with this fabulous grass-fed beef that we get from this wonderful company called Carpenter Cattle Company. And their grass-fed beef is like phenomenal. Very humanely treated also. Great stuff. No motorized vehicles on the ranch. When they harvest them, they take them around the corner and they shoot them. And, none of the other cows have to smell the blood. There's no trucks. There's no slaughterhouses. It's amazing. It's
all humanely done.
Yeah, I mean, as humane really, as it can be.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I used some of these pili nuts instead because I didn't have any pine nuts. And they were phenomenal.
Yeah, it is. How did you grind them up? You put them in
put them in the Magimix and just ground them up till they were a little bit mushy, like tiny little.
Yeah, and then you just stuck in a meat. I was shocked. Do we have any of those meatballs left?
In the freezer.
How about tomorrow night? Break those bad boys out.
All right, come on, questions.
Okay, honey, there's a ton of questions. You're supposed to be doing this.
I know, but
you keep making me tell by the way, let me just, while you're looking for the next question, folks, it's called eatpilinuts.com.
You guys.
And you can put promo code Vinnie in there, VINNIE.
Oh,
even though he's not
James
a sponsor.
William Spindler.
I'm speaking, Serena. Oh. Even though you're not supposed to talk over someone else when they're speaking. So if you put in the promo code Vinnie, at Pili Nuts, even though he's not a sponsor, I think he gives you guys some percentage off. I don't know what it is, but go check it out. All right, what do you have there?
Okay, we got lots. Can you have Pavel Tsatsouline on the podcast sometime?
I don't know who that is.
James William Spindler, any date for hiking Mount Whitney, doing rim to rim in September? Oh, that's awesome. Good for you. Whitney, yeah, he's going to have another go. Keep trying, honey.
Yeah, maybe I'll get you the top this time. I'll go with nephews that.
You look cool in glasses. You look cool in glasses.
Is that what they're saying? Yeah, these are actually cheap reading glasses. These are my actual glasses, but as I've talked about it in the past, I would have to do this the entire time because the reading part is down here.
Wait, why does Jeff Ernest want to know what the best exercise for ladies' flabby triceps?
I thought he was going to say ladies' flabby other part.
Oh, stop it. You're horrible.
Best exercise for that is push-ups and dips. As a matter of fact, since we're doing Facebook Live, let me describe, honey. Stay there. Hang on. Serena, you can't ask me a question and then start doing something else. You have any idea how media works? I gotta, someone asked me about triceps. I gotta show them. So, all right, I'm gonna move back here a bit, so you guys can just see what I'm doing here.
Wait, I'll stand here and be.
Serena, sit down. I'm exercising now. So in other words, the best movement if you're doing a push-up is if you're working the entire muscle, right? So. Instead of doing this, people go and they do the tricep extensions, right? You have the bar and you're doing this. This pales in comparison to when you're doing a push-up or a bench press or a shoulder press, right? All of these movements are a lot better when it comes to building the flabby tricep, if you will, versus just doing some kind of cable push down. Now, if you're a bodybuilder and you're trying to work on one little tiny piece of that horseshoe in the back of your arm and that kind of thing, knock yourself out. Did you cut me off, or are we still on? Okay.
Keep going.
Knock yourself out. But otherwise, you want to do something that's a compound movement. Compound movements are when you do a lot of movements all at once, right? So you're working your chest and your tricep, or you're working your shoulder and your tricep. You get what I'm talking about here? The same thing comes with legs. Like people want to do these, let me do this, these leg extensions, right? They want to get into this sort of thing. The problem with doing leg extensions is it's not a compound movement. If you got down and you did a squat, now you're working your ass, you're working your hamstrings, you're working your quads, you're working the whole thing. You're going to get a better workout by doing that. So always do a compound movement when you want to get rid of flabby anything. Hopefully that answered your question.
All right. I'm going to get rid of this.
What is that?
That is the camera settings. I'm trying to learn how to use it.
Okay.
Sorry.
Learning to fly here.
Jackie Jones is, Paul Perez lost 45 pounds, NSNG by you. Love you, Vinnie. Okay, Rob
you see
Christo.
this girl right here, Nanette Blanchett?
Yeah.
We grew up together. How you doing, Nanette?
That's so nice.
Yeah, she's a great girl. She's good with handguns too. Very good. I think competition. Nanette, which competitions do you do with handguns? Write back and let me know. Girl after my own heart. And next time I come to Donaldsonville, I need to go to your range with you. We need to do that. All right, what do you got there, Serena?
What is the clam photo shoot?
The clam photo shoot?
Rob Chrisdale.
No idea. I have no idea.
Okay, let's move on.
Rob, you tell me.
Oh, Tiffany Shockbeg. Hi, Vinnie. Wanted to get your opinion on Isagenix products. What are those? Oh,
yeah, I could tell you a lot about Isagenix. You ready? Complete bullshit. Don't take them. Move on. They're not good for you. Just telling you. No Isagenix. A lot of sugar, a lot of crap in them, and a lot of processed stuff. So stay away from Isagenix.
Here's a link for the PDF. Somebody asked for that.
Did you put it up there?
I did, but I don't know where it went.
It's probably in there somewhere.
Weird. I love black coffee, Stephen Brill, but I want to get more fat in the morning. How much heavy cream should I use? I told you we should have that video up.
That video is not, I actually did a video where I talk about how light your coffee should be. I like black coffee too, but my coffee in the morning usually has heavy cream in it, heavy whipping cream. And the way I describe it, and no, I'm not a racist, is if your coffee looks like Beyonce, you got too much cream in it. If it looks like Whitney Houston, maybe not enough cream. So you want to be somewhere around Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson as far as color goes. That's the only way I can explain this, folks. I wish I could explain it some other way. Look, if it starts to look like Edgar Winter, and for you young kids, go look him up, you got way too much cream in your coffee. So I like to use musicians and rock stars and The Rock, who probably can't sing, to describe what coffee should look like when you do put cream. Go on.
Charlene Berlin, does NSNG make your hair fall out?
Oh, God, no.
On the opposite.
No, and if your hair is falling out, that's a medical issue. So please go consult a doctor, dermatologist, and see what the hell is going on there. But absolutely not. That's,
John Roth.
Wait, I want to answer this a little more before you go into John Roth. NSNG is not some kind of wacky diet. Basically, you're cutting out the stuff that causes inflammation. It causes heart disease. It causes weight gain. It causes metabolic syndrome. You're cutting out grains and sugars. Eating NSNG, you're eating vegetables, you're eating meat, you're eating fish, you're not going to have a problem. You see, this is the thing. This is not some wacky diet that I just came up with. This is reality. So NSNG is not some kind of crazy diet thing. So start thinking differently about that. Go on, Serena. You were about to answer dry
Somebody
surroundings.
has said blink twice if he's holding you hostage.
You were very obvious with that blink, Serena.
Okay, rosacea hacks. Turned 30 and had perfect skin. Then boom, red cheeks. Dermatologist.
Dermatologist. I can't answer medical questions. Rosacea is a medical issue. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't know what to tell you to do, to be honest with you.
Eric Wolf, those 10 for 10 podcasts are extremely informative. So glad. Fantastic.
Eric, yeah, I see Eric as one of the guys I see on Twitter all the time. As you guys know, I'm very active on Twitter. I'm also being more active on this particular page on Facebook. I'm doing an Ask Me Anything where I type it out once a week, and I do this every Sunday. People are asking me to do this Facebook Live every day. I think that's a bit much, but I think once a week is more than enough. People seem to be enjoying it. I decided to do it a little earlier this week because of the Dodgers that I will be watching in about, let's call it about 30 minutes from right now. Very happy about that. Go Dodgers.
Okay, here's a good one. Eric Duncan, effective sleep aid, food, drink, etc. besides scotch.
Did I mention scotch? Actually, great sleep aid. And Serena, after you ask the question, lean back a little bit so they can see you, because they see the top of your head in there.
Which is very attractive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I haven't got the hang of this.
Magnesium works, and I gotta say, everyone knows this, but I own a vitamin company that sells magnesium. You don't have to take my magnesium; you can take other magnesiums, but I would suggest you take mine because we have the 4 different types of magnesium where you don't need to have 400 milligrams. You can have 200 milligrams. You get the same great quality out of less magnesium, so you won't get the craps, you won't get the squirts or anything, but you will get a good night's sleep. On top of that, if you really do have trouble falling asleep, melatonin, but don't get hooked on it. Don't use it every night. If you're having some stress or some anxiety, melatonin seems to make a difference. I would tell you to get the sublingual kind and try to get away with 1 milligram. You don't want to start getting in there with 3 or 4 milligrams.
If I take more than 1 milligram, I'm like half asleep for the rest of the day. I can't wake up.
You have to be very careful with that. So.
I do think that overstimulating the brain with a lot of television and or screen time before sleep is probably not a good thing. I mean, unfortunately, we have our television in our bedroom, and it's become a really kind of not good habit.
But we don't watch a lot of television.
I know, but I fall asleep watching TV every night.
But you watch about 26 minutes average?
No, not even.
And I do my exercises on the floor for my shoulder.
Yeah.
So I get about 45 minutes in. And so we're not big TV watchers.
Somebody asked about non-sugary soda, flavored sodas. You're okay with those La Croix things, right?
Yeah, we call them LaCroix in this country. How do you say it?
La Croix.
La Croix.
Yes, they're fine.
I think the only people that understood you was my nephew Mikey and my friend Nanette Blanchard, who speaks a little French, I'm sure.
Oh, my girlfriend wants to believe Jillian Michaels and calorie count only. What is the best to counter her argument? Lead by example.
You can start by telling her that I said Jillian Michaels is an idiot.
Oh, that's not true. I like Jillian Michaels.
Serena, are you going to just sit here and contradict everything I say? Does this have to be like real life?
It's my job.
Okay. I'm not saying that she's a horrible person. I'm sure she's perfectly fine. But what I'm saying is she has no business being in the fitness business.
That's not true.
Okay. I'm glad you said that's not true. I've actually heard her in interviews, this is from her mouth, that nothing else in her life was working. So since she had good looking abs, she became a trainer. Yeah, that's a fact.
But that doesn't mean she's not good at it. And that doesn't mean she doesn't have any knowledge.
She's telling people that calorie in, calorie out is a good thing. Yes, and she's got a big platform.
No. Undoubtedly.
She's got a huge platform.
Vinnie, undoubtedly, she's completely wrong about that. You can't say, sorry about this, we're just
I'm just being honest here.
No, you can't say that somebody, just because they have one thing wrong, everything else about what they teach and what they,
when that's all she teaches, bullshit. Then it is.
Okay.
What else is she teaching? She's telling people. No, it's not boring. She taught people on a television show that was seen by gazillion people over and over and over that somehow running your ass off on a treadmill and not eating was a good thing, and when they didn't do it, she yelled at them.
All
so
right.
if I'm wrong about Jillian Michaels, I'd rather be wrong. But guess what? I'm getting it. You know, she used it. Her kids took horseback riding lessons with your kids at the same barn, and you might run into her. But I don't have that problem. I don't give a shit. You know, I don't care. I got to tell people the truth.
Okay.
All right. So let's
I just
go
don't
on.
like it when you, whatever.
All right. When I tell the truth.
Okay.
You don't like it.
All right.
Okay.
No.
Mommy and Daddy are fighting. Well, this when you got like.
Okay, Chris Andrews. How healthy is it for actors to get jack so quickly for roles? I think he means.
I know what he means.
What does jack mean?
All pumped up.
Oh, okay.
When you think about it, they don't get jacked that quickly, and the ones that do, bottom line, they are taking hormones of some sort. You got to remember that, you know, these actors are under a lot of pressure, and I'm not going to mention any names or anything, but they're under a lot of pressure. And when they get a role and they tell them they have to look a certain way in a certain amount of time, Serena, that thing's been beeping for a while. Should you deal with that?
Yeah, sorry about that.
Okay. And God, she's gone. We could talk freely. And pull your pants up when you come out. Everyone saw your underwear. Great job, honey. Anyway, when people get jacked for these roles, when their agent calls and says there's millions of dollars on the line, and you have to look a certain way at a certain time, they will, number one, hire a trainer, and that trainer may or may. I'll tell you guys this: I've never used hormones with anyone. And I've never had to really deal with those. Most of mine was losing weight and that kind of thing. But there are certain trainers who will get them onto steroids, and they will do it for short periods. Do I think that's healthy? No. Do I begrudge someone who says they're going to do it for 6 or 8 weeks or a few months just to go shoot a movie and try to make a couple of bazillion dollars for their family? You know, okay. But I still don't believe in doing anything like that. And that's why I generally won't get that phone call to do that, because I'm not going to go down to Tijuana and grab a bunch of hormones and start injecting a client with something that I don't believe in. So that's why that works. What, Serena? What's wrong? What?
We have a situation.
What happened?
I can't say.
Topsy again?
It's not good.
Is it really bad in there?
It's about as bad as it gets.
No.
Yes.
Really?
I think we're going to stay in a hotel tonight.
Oh, God. We have an old dog. Anyone who has an old dog, at some point you can only laugh about it. Should we end this and go deal with that?
No.
Are we good?
No.
Oh, God. Does it look like the Manson family came over?
It's bad. Okay. All right. Lean meat or fatty meat? Great question.
It's a great question. I have a great answer. Fatty meat. Get the fattest. Now, honey, the percentage in hamburger meat.
Yes.
It comes like some people, oh, my God, I try to get the super lean, like 9%. No fat.
I'm not sure.
What do we get?
You know what? That's a really, really good question. I had a great conversation with the cattle rancher because I called him to find out about, the cattle.
Are you still going on about that cattle rancher?
Yeah, I have a bit of crush.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to just sit here and eat my olives. Why don't you just do the show for me?
He's a real cowboy, honey.
I got cowboy boots.
I know. Anyway, so we were talking about that, but I'm not sure. Is 80% lean and then 90% fatty? Does anyone know the answer to that?
No, I know the answer, Serena. It's 20. If it's 80%, it's 80% lean. You want the number to be closer.
Higher, yes.
You want the number to be 70%. That means you have 30% fat mixed in with it.
Oh.
You hit it backwards. Now how do you feel about your cowboy boyfriend?
No, because that
down on the range.
No, because they feed them in the last few months of their life. They bring them back onto the lot and they feed them alfalfa and carrots.
You know why they do that?
Yeah, to take off the tang of the grass, because the grass in California is super dry, and to fatten them up.
It's, a lot of times you'll see, I'm not talking about your rancher, I'm talking about they'll do grass-fed and they'll say grain finished.
Yeah, which is not grain finished.
I said not your rancher. I said everybody else's rancher.
Stop yelling.
I'm just telling you, pay attention to what I'm saying. The reason they do that is, what happens is these cows on grass, since they don't have grains, they don't have as much fat in their meat, and it doesn't taste as good. So a lot of these guys are doing grass-fed, grain-finished for about the last month, and that is how they get it to become more marbled and taste better.
What protein water that's sold at Costco? Legit option or BS? My wife eats NSNG but has complained of muscle fatigue lately. Thanks. Go Astros! Protein water?
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
Protein water.
Can you look it up? Where is it served?
No, they sell it at Costco. Hang on.
Look it up. We'll try to get you an answer before the end of the show.
That is so scary.
By the way, is everyone enjoying this? Am I making these things too long, too short?
What is protein water?
I noticed my friend Caroline Lettieri just joined up. If you guys read my book, Fitness Confidential, she was in the book. Caroline, I talked about her and her lupus, and she's a year or two older than me, and she still runs long-distance triathlons, the Ironman event. So just had dinner with her and her lovely husband, Chris, last weekend. Caroline, it's great to see you here. You're looking up the protein water?
Yeah, hang on.
You're not getting anywhere, honey.
No, I know. Because my computer says...
Well, hang on, let me see what Nanette has
Protein water Walmart. Oh, it's that stuff. Yeah. It's bullshit. Total bullshit.
Really? Nanette, are you really doing blindfolded shooting?
Oh my God, look at this. Trimino protein infused water. They've stuck, how did they do that? I hate to think what they put in that to give it protein.
Well, I'm sure it doesn't taste like protein, so they had to put sugar in it. Tell your wife this stuff. I'm looking at this stuff. There is nothing good about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, just stay away from that. Let's move on to the next question. Someone said, Robbie said, quit yelling at her.
Yes, thank you, Robbie.
Come on, Robbie. I'm not yelling. I'm Italian. That's my normal voice. Are you crazy? You've heard the show.
Here's a good one. If I have coffee with cream in the morning, am I breaking my fast? I would say yes, right?
It depends. If you talk to Jason Fung and some of these people who have written books on fasting, they will tell you, I would agree that once you put fat in, your body's not running on the fat on your body. But they're saying that if you have just like a teaspoon or so of fat in your coffee, that you're not really breaking your fast yet. I disagree with that. Once you have another source of fuel going in, now if you're just drinking plain coffee that has no calories in it, that's one thing. But when you start adding the heavy cream, it becomes a whole different thing, in my opinion. People have differing opinions on that. Let's do a couple more, honey.
Okay, so Jillian is a smoke show. Villa Capelli, rub it out to her. What?
Oh, gee, move on. Rub it out. You don't want to know what that means.
Oh.
Yeah, move on.
There was a good one up here. How about wings? Eric Alden. I know the sauce matters, but if there isn't any sugar in the sauce, are the fact that they are fried okay? Ooh.
Okay. There's tons of stuff I want to talk about here. Number one, the Frank's debate is going on and on and on. When I was on Adam's show, I was talking, there's a Frank's hot sauce that is actually called Wings hot sauce, and it had what I said on the show in it. Apparently, there's a regular Frank's Red Hot that is fine to put on your wings. Now, when you deep fry wings, that's not good because you're doing it generally in oil that is not good. Now, if you want to deep fry wings in tallow, that's one thing, beef tallow. But if you're doing it in Crisco or Western oil or anything like that, you're giving yourself heart disease. I mean, that's not good.
What's that
you can
about?
Easily bake wings, and if you bake the wings and then put the Frank's hot sauce and your butter on it, that's a different way of doing it. What was that, honey?
Well, what's that about when you roast things in really hot fat? When you heat up some oils to a certain temperature, they then become like good oils suddenly become bad fat.
That's exactly what I was just talking about.
Should be listening then, shouldn't I?
Yeah, instead of asking a question, you should have been listening to what I was saying. So anyway, the bottom line is when you take, years ago, CSPI and some of these groups got together and decided that having beef tallow in the fryer wasn't a good idea. You can heat beef tallow to a very hot temperature, and then it just goes right back to a saturated fat.
Is that the same as bacon fat?
Bacon fat would work the same. Beef fat works the same. Coconut oil would work that way. But when you start using vegetable oil, once you get to a certain temperature and you let it cool and you do that over and over, it becomes a carcinogen. And if you notice back in the 80s, if you ate like a McDonald's French fry, it was delicious. It was made with beef tallow. But by taking the beef tallow out and adding in vegetable oil, you've basically weaponized this oil.
That's
and
sad.
You're absolutely right. People are getting heart disease.
Okay, here's
French fries.
Santiago Guzman. Thinking of starting NSNG. What is holding me back is the fact that the longest living people in human history ate a diet of whole grains like the Okinawans and the California Adventists. Can you explain this?
I get where you're coming from, Santiago. You're putting that question in there because you're a vegan and you want me to take the bait and run. I wish Serena wouldn't have even read your question. The bottom, you want to read this next question? I love when you guys, hang on. No. I love when you guys go, I'm thinking of starting an SNG. Guess what, Santiago? Go start and do it. Because that bullshit that you just put up there about the Seventh-day Adventist, that's complete bullshit, and you know that as well as I do. Someone 100 years ago had a premonition in the middle of the night. This woman happened to know Kellogg's, and they started this whole vegan crap, and it was a Seventh-day Adventist. I don't want to hear that you're thinking about starting an SNG, but you have to get this question straight because the information she just read, that's bullshit, and you know it as well as I do. There's no fact behind what you just said. So if you think you're messing with a guy that doesn't know what he's talking about, guess what? I ain't that dumb. I was born at night, but guess what? It wasn't last night. Anyway, move on to the next question. Right. It drives me nuts. Let's see what he's saying down here. He's
just reposting his question.
Yeah, okay, I'm going to keep reposting.
I'm
vegan.
sorry.
You know what, Santiago? Be a vegan. See how that works out for you. Give me a call in 6 months when you're half dead. Okay, let's move on.
Are you done?
Yeah, now I am.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'm taking one more question, and I gotta go watch.
No, there were a bunch of really good ones.
Yeah, they're gonna keep.
Unfortunately, here's Rosalinda Vargas on NSNG and taking medication to lower my sugar levels due to an infertility treatment. Been feeling bad since my sugar drops. What can I eat to regulate it?
I met Rosalinda and her husband. They came and we met at the Starbucks down the street. We had a great time.
Yeah.
I'll tell you how much I love them.
Yeah.
I think she was also an Amazon winner on the podcast. Rosalinda, it's a medical question. I can't really answer it. I obviously can't answer it here.
Oh, you're so right, Vinnie. Santiago Guzman. Can't believe people believe this fad diet.
Yeah, you see, he was just he was baiting. Isn't it great that I can tell a bait? I've been doing this for long enough.
Yeah, you annoy me. You're so right about people. Go back to Rosalind.
Yeah, Rosalind, maybe you can write to me and we'll talk off the air. I can't do it here on the thing. Anyway, let's take a couple more.
What's your opinion of CrossFit?
I like CrossFit. Some of the fittest people in the world, but here's my problem with CrossFit. People watch these CrossFit athletes on television. These are professional athletes. And I tell people this all the time. If you want to get into CrossFit, you got to find a good coach that's going to teach you how to do those lifts, teach you how to do all this stuff ahead of time. You can't just go willy-nilly into CrossFit. I put it this way for people. It's kind of like if you told someone, are we still on?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. It's almost like if you told someone, hey, I'm going to teach you how to downhill ski. And then without giving them any lessons, you take them right to the top of a double black and say, okay, go down. Just go down here. And they will go, you're crazy. I can't. I'm going to tumble all the way to the bottom. I'm going to kill myself. Well, that's the same with CrossFit. You're doing the same sort of thing with CrossFit. Serena, what are you doing?
Just keep talking.
Okay. Yeah, you could do CrossFit. Just find a good teacher, someone that could teach you how to do squats, someone that could teach you how to do deadlifts. and people that can teach you how to do the snatch. I said snatch. So people that can teach you all this different kind of stuff. You can't just go willy-nilly into CrossFit and think you're going to get somewhere. Think of what I said. If a downhill skier tried to teach you by taking you to the top of a double black, you would never learn, and you're going to get hurt. Same thing can happen with CrossFit. The people you see on television, they didn't just walk into a gym a year ago. These people